When most people think about achieving transformation, they immediately think about effort. We're taught from childhood that if you want something in life, you have to grind, hustle, sacrifice, and push yourself beyond your limits. Society glorifies the idea of hard work as the only path to success, and while effort certainly has its place in building skills, running a business, or maintaining discipline, when it comes to quantum shifts, the kind of massive leaps in consciousness that completely alter your life, effort is actually the very thing that blocks the doorway. Quantum reality doesn't respond to force. It responds to alignment, resonance, and frequency. Imagine trying to tune into a radio station by violently twisting the dial back and forth. You don't get the music faster, you only create static. The same principle applies here. When you're forcing, hustling, and trying too hard to make a breakthrough, you create resistance in the energetic field. That resistance becomes static between you and the reality you're trying to access. True quantum shifts happen not when you do more, but when you learn to release, surrender, and align your internal frequency with the version of reality you want to experience. The paradox is this: the harder you try, the further you push it away. The less you effort, the closer it gets. Effort is a tool of the linear, physical world. If you want to build a house, you put in hours of physical labor. If you want to study for an exam, you dedicate time and mental energy. These are tangible actions in the 3D plane, where cause and effect appear in a straight line. But quantum shifts operate outside of linear time and cause and effect logic. The quantum field is non-linear, it exists beyond space and time. Here, things don't unfold gradually. They shift instantly. The version of you who already lives the reality you desire already exists in the quantum field. You don't need to create it through grinding effort. You simply need to tune into it like a radio frequency. When you try to offer it your way into a new quantum reality, you're essentially telling the universe that you don't already have it, that it's far away, and that it requires struggle to reach. That belief itself creates separation. Effort works against you because it signals lack. By constantly trying, pushing, and striving, you reinforce the vibration that you are not yet the person who has what you want. But when you drop the effort and simply embody the state of already having it, the quantum field rearranges instantly to match that vibration. This is why effort belongs to the 3D plane but blocks the quantum. Think about the energy behind the word trying. When someone says, "I'll try to do it," there's already hesitation, struggle, and uncertainty in that statement. It's not a vibration of certainty, it's a vibration of doubt. In the same way, when you are trying hard to manifest or to shift realities, you may think you're giving it your best shot, but in truth, you're vibrating at the frequency of not having. You're reinforcing the idea that it's difficult, that it requires effort, that it's not natural for you, and the quantum field mirrors that back to you. This is why some people meditate for years, visualize endlessly, and yet feel stuck in the same life patterns. They are trying to manifest instead of simply embodying the manifestation. They are efforting instead of being. To the quantum field, trying feels like noise, whereas being feels like clarity. Effort says, "I am not there yet." Alignment says, "I am already it." The subtle but powerful difference between these two states is what separates a life of constant struggle from one of effortless quantum shifts. The idea of surrender scares many people because they associate it with weakness or passivity. But in the quantum world, surrender is the most powerful move you can make. Surrender doesn't mean giving up on your desires, it means releasing the need to control how and when they happen. When you surrender, you step out of resistance and into flow. You stop vibrating at the frequency of, "I must make this happen," and shift into the frequency of, "It is already done." This is the exact state where quantum shifts occur. Think about water. When you try to push it forcefully, it splashes and scatters. But when you allow it to flow naturally, it finds the path of least resistance and moves with grace. Your energy works the same way. When you stop forcing, Your vibration harmonizes with the version of reality you want, and the quantum field can deliver it with ease. Ironically, the less you try, the more powerfully reality bends in your favor. True masters of manifestation understand this secret. It's not about effort, but about surrender into alignment. Imagine two people wanting to manifest abundance. One of them works tirelessly, repeating affirmations all day, stressing over every penny, forcing themselves to visualize while secretly worrying it won't work. The other person, however, shifts into a state of gratitude, joy, and inner peace. They feel abundant regardless of their bank account. They embody the frequency of wealth without trying so hard. Guess which one quantum reality responds to? The second person. Because in the quantum field, reality matches energy, not effort. It's not the hours you put in or how intensely you strain that creates the shift. It's the purity of your frequency. Effortless alignment means that your thoughts, emotions, and energy are coherent, harmonious, and resonant with the reality you want. No resistance, no struggle, just clarity. And when you reach that state, reality has no choice but to shift to reflect it. This is why people sometimes call it effortless manifestation. It's not magic, it's physics of the quantum field. Energy responds to coherence, not chaos. Alignment, not effort, is the secret doorway to quantum leaps. One of the biggest reasons effort blocks quantum shifts is because it is rooted in control. When you're efforting, you're essentially saying, if I don't do this, nothing will happen. This is an ego-based perspective. The ego thrives on control, on the belief that it is the master orchestrator of reality. But in truth, reality is governed by frequencies and universal intelligence far beyond the conscious mind. Think about how many things in your life you didn't plan, but they unfolded perfectly. Like meeting someone who changed your life at the right time, or stumbling across an opportunity that seemed too perfectly timed to be random. These weren't forced by effort, they emerged from alignment. When you try to control every outcome, you restrict the infinite possibilities of the quantum field to the limited scope of your imagination. Control shrinks the field of potential. Surrender expands it, and that's why effort backfires. It makes you cling tightly to one pathway instead of allowing the quantum field to deliver something even greater. When you release the illusion of control, you open yourself to quantum leaps beyond anything your effort-driven mind could ever create. Effort often carries with it a vibration of desperation. Think about it, when someone is trying really hard, there's usually an underlying feeling of, I need this now, or I'm incomplete without it. That vibration is one of lack, and the quantum field mirrors it back to you. If you are desperate for love, you vibrate at, I don't have love. And reality continues to match that frequency. If you are desperate for money, you vibrate at, I don't have enough. And the universe reflects more scarcity. Desperation is disguised effort. You might think you're working hard because you're determined, but underneath it is fear. The fear of not having, the fear of not being enough. And fear is one of the lowest frequencies you can embody. The paradox is that the very thing you think will bring you closer, trying harder, actually pushes it further away. True quantum shifts require you to step into a state of abundance, love, joy, or peace before the external evidence shows up. That's alignment. That's embodiment. And it never comes from desperation or struggle. It comes from releasing the need to effort. Nature operates on the law of least resistance. Trees don't struggle to grow, they simply grow toward the sun. Rivers don't force their way uphill, they flow along the path of least resistance. Energy itself seeks coherence, not effort. The same law applies to your quantum reality. The harder you push, the more resistance you create, because pushing is unnatural to the quantum field. Alignment, on the other hand, is effortless. It feels natural, flowing, and peaceful. This doesn't mean you sit on the couch and do nothing. It means the actions you take are inspired, not forced. They feel light, exciting, and natural, not heavy and draining. That difference in energy is what allows quantum shifts to occur. When you're in the flow of least resistance, doors open, synchronicities appear, and timelines collapse in your favor. When you're forcing, everything feels blocked and heavy. Ask yourself, are you swimming upstream, or are you flowing with the current? Your answer will tell you why effort is either keeping you stuck or why surrender is moving you toward quantum transformation. One of the most powerful secrets in quantum manifestation is knowing how to embody the state of already having. This means you don't wait for the reality to show up before you feel it. You feel it now, before any evidence appears. Effort blocks this state because effort is built on the belief that you're not there yet. When you're efforting, you're constantly sending the signal, I'm not that person yet, I'm working hard to become them. But the quantum field doesn't respond to effort, it responds to identity. Who are you being right now? If your energy says, I already have it, I already am it, the field mirrors that instantly. That's why people who act as though they already have the thing they desire often experience rapid shifts. They're no longer waiting. They're living it. Effort says, one day. Embodiment says, now. And the quantum responds to, now. To make a quantum leap, you must learn to stop trying to get somewhere and instead start being the version of yourself who is already there. Most people think letting go slows down their progress. They believe that if they stop efforting, everything will fall apart. But in truth, letting go accelerates quantum shifts because it removes resistance. Think of a bow and arrow. The arrow doesn't fly because you push it forward with effort. It flies because you release it. The power was always in the tension, but it's the letting go that makes it soar. The same principle applies to manifestation. When you stop clinging, worrying, and trying too hard, your energy becomes light and fluid. The quantum field can finally rearrange to bring you what you desire. Letting go is not laziness, it's intelligence. It's understanding that your job is to embody the vibration, and the universe's job is to orchestrate the how and when. The more you try to control, the slower it gets. The more you let go, the faster timelines collapse in your favor. That's the paradox. Surrender, not effort, is what speeds up quantum shifts. To really understand why effort blocks quantum shifts, you need to look at the difference in frequency between effort and flow. Effort is dense. It carries a vibration of heaviness, pressure, and resistance. When you are efforting, your body feels tense, your mind feels restless, and your energy feels contracted. Flow, on the other hand, is expansive, light, and harmonious. In flow, time disappears, inspiration pours in, and synchronicities unfold with ease. This is why people talk about being in the zone or in alignment. In that state, things feel effortless, yet results come faster and more powerfully than when you're grinding. Quantum reality is sensitive to these frequencies. When you're in effort mode, the signal you send is static. It says, I am struggling, I am not there yet. When you're in flow, the signal is pure, clear, and coherent. It says, I am already aligned with this reality. And the quantum field always mirrors back the strongest, clearest frequency. So the choice is simple. Do you want to struggle with heavy effort? Or do you want to flow effortlessly into a reality that matches your vibration? We live in a society that glorifies hustle culture. Everywhere you look, people are shouting, work harder, grind longer, sacrifice more. And while this advice may help you climb the ladder in certain 3D systems like corporate jobs or traditional business, it becomes dangerous when applied to quantum shifts. Hustle culture teaches you that you must earn your worth, that success comes only through suffering, and that effort is the badge of honor. But in truth, the quantum field does not respond to suffering, it responds to frequency. You cannot hustle your way into alignment. You cannot grind your way into resonance. In fact, the harder you hustle, the more disconnected you become from your true energy. This is why many people who follow hustle culture eventually burn out, exhausted, and wondering why all their effort hasn't created the breakthrough they were promised. The truth is that hustle works in the physical, but it fails in the quantum. Real transformation comes when you stop buying into hustle culture and start learning the art of alignment. Now, Let's clear up a common misconception. Surrender does not mean doing nothing. Quantum shifts are not about sitting still and waiting for the universe to drop miracles in your lap. They require action, but not forced action. The key difference is between inspired action and effortful action. Inspired action feels exciting, light, and almost inevitable. It's the kind of action that feels like it's pulling you, rather than you pushing yourself. It arises from alignment. Forced action, on the other hand, feels heavy, draining, and stressful. It arises from fear and scarcity. Inspired action leads to synchronicities and acceleration. Forced action leads to exhaustion and stagnation. Both are forms of doing, but only one is aligned with the quantum field. This is why some people can work less but achieve more. They are operating from inspired action. Meanwhile, others may hustle endlessly but see no real change because their actions are rooted in effort, not alignment. The secret is to learn how to listen to your intuition and move only when the action feels inspired. In our 3D world, we've been conditioned to believe that results come from doing. You study to pass a test. You work to earn money. You train to get stronger. This cause and effect relationship makes sense in physical terms, but the quantum field doesn't operate that way. In the quantum, reality shifts not because of what you do, but because of who you are being. Your state of being is the magnet. It's the vibration that signals to the universe which version of reality you are aligned with. When you're efforting, your state of being is one of struggle, lack, and incompleteness. When you are aligned, your state of being is one of abundance, wholeness, and certainty. The quantum field mirrors your beingness, not your business. This is why some people can meditate in stillness and shift realities more powerfully than someone else who is working themselves to death. It's not about activity, it's about energy. If you want to experience a true quantum leap, stop focusing so much on doing and start focusing on becoming. On the surface, effort seems noble. It looks like determination, commitment, and ambition, but underneath, effort hides resistance. Every time you say, "I have to work harder for this," you're subtly affirming, "I don't already have it." Every time you say, "I'll try harder next time," you're affirming, "I'm not enough yet." That energy is resistance, and resistance blocks the natural flow of the quantum field. Think about driving with the parking brake on. The car might move, but it's slow, clunky, and exhausting. That's what effort does to your energy. Alignment, on the other hand, is like releasing the brake. The car moves smoothly and easily because nothing is resisting its forward motion. This is why effort creates stagnation while alignment creates acceleration. The resistance built into effort is invisible, but it's powerful. It sends a constant signal of lack, struggle, and incompleteness. And until you see it for what it is, you'll mistake it for progress when in reality, it's the very thing keeping you stuck where you are. Stillness is one of the most underrated states when it comes to transformation. In our modern world, people are terrified of stillness because it feels like not doing anything. But in the quantum field, stillness is not emptiness. It is power. It's in stillness that your energy stabilizes, your vibration rises, and your signal to the universe becomes coherent. When you are constantly efforting, your energy is scattered, restless, and filled with noise. But when you drop into stillness, you step into a frequency of clarity, and clarity collapses timelines. Many of the greatest breakthroughs, whether in meditation, creativity, or spiritual awakening, have come not from trying harder, but from becoming still enough to receive. Stillness opens the channel to the quantum. It allows you to align with realities you could never reach through effort. That's why masters of consciousness emphasize meditation, silence, and presence. These are not passive states. They are states of supreme receptivity. Stillness is the secret doorway to quantum shifts because it allows you to access frequencies effort can never touch. At its core, effort is a function of the ego. The ego believes it must do everything, control everything, and prove everything. It constantly shouts, "If I don't push harder, nothing will happen." This voice comes from fear, The higher self, on the other hand, speaks softly in the language of flow, ease, and alignment. It knows that reality is not created through force but through frequency. The higher self understands that everything you desire already exists in the quantum field. Your only job is to match it. When you listen to ego, you effort. When you listen to higher self, you flow. And here's the important truth. The quantum responds only to your higher self's vibration, not your ego's struggle. This is why some people feel like they're pushing against a wall. Because they're efforting from ego instead of aligning with higher self. When you shift from ego to alignment, effort dissolves and the quantum leap happens naturally. It's not about fighting harder, it's about listening deeper. Another reason effort blocks shifts is because it prevents detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. When you're efforting, you're clinging to an outcome, obsessing over how and when it will happen. That energy creates tension. Detachment, however, is magnetic. When you detach, you signal to the universe, I already have this. I am whole, with or without it. That energy is irresistible to the quantum field because it vibrates with wholeness and certainty. Think about relationships. The person who is desperate pushes people away, while the one who is confident and detached naturally attracts. The same law applies to money, opportunities, and every other reality. Detachment is alignment, effort is attachment. And because the quantum responds to wholeness, detachment pulls realities toward you far faster than effort ever could. The magnetic power of detachment is one of the greatest secrets of manifestation, and it only activates when you stop trying so hard. Here's something surprising. Playfulness is often more powerful than discipline in the quantum field. Effort is serious, heavy, and rigid. Playfulness is light, expansive, and open. When you approach manifestation or reality, shifting with a sense of joy, curiosity, and play, your vibration skyrockets. Children are masters of this. They imagine freely, they embody roles effortlessly, and they believe in possibilities without doubt. That's why their energy is so magnetic. Adults, however, are trained to replace play with effort, imagination with seriousness, and flow with rigidity. But the quantum field responds to play because play carries no resistance. When you are playful, you are detached, joyful, and aligned. You are not forcing, you are allowing. Many great innovators, artists, and visionaries describe their breakthroughs as play, not work. They stumbled into discoveries by being curious, lighthearted, and open. If effort blocks quantum shifts, playfulness accelerates them. Learn to treat your desires like a game instead of a test, and you'll see the quantum field respond in magical ways. In the end, the lesson is simple but life-changing. Effort closes the door to quantum shifts, alignment opens it. You don't manifest new realities by straining, hustling, or controlling. You manifest by becoming the frequency of the reality you want. You don't need to force the quantum, you need to align with it. Every time you effort, you affirm separation. Every time you surrender, you affirm wholeness. Every time you struggle, you broadcast lack. Every time you align, you broadcast abundance. The quantum field is not judging you, it is simply mirroring you. And what it mirrors back depends on your state of being. So the next time you feel yourself trying too hard, breathe. Return to alignment. Remember that stillness is more powerful than struggle, detachment is more magnetic than desperation, and playfulness is more effective than pressure. The quantum leap you seek is not out there waiting for your effort. It is here, waiting for your alignment. Once you truly grasp this, your life no longer becomes a struggle. It becomes a series of effortless, joyful, and miraculous shifts.